Hey, what's up everyone? Mendel here. I hope you are doing awesome and wonderful. And today I'm gonna show you how you can get epic soaring metal cinematic leads in a metal mix. Here we go. Alright, so here we are. Here we have a session open of a new track that I'm working on, which is almost a blend between like the cinematic chord progressions with some synth and heavy guitars, almost going into the metal realm. I would say it's metal with a cinematic dash on it. And I think it's a perfect palette to write some epic cinematic leads over. Now, of course, cinematic and epic, that's all subjective. The thing I'm going for is one certain thing. I want to have a melody, which I have here, and I'll show you in a second. But for me, I want to have a melody that's something that can be stuck in my head or stuck in people's heads, and it's easy to sing with. That's something I resonate with. That plus melancholy, even though there's not really a lot of harmonic minor stuff going on in here, which I usually do, but there is a certain chord progression going here where I have this feeling like, yes, it's almost like a resolution, some cinematic experience. So the chord progression we have, and I'll play the song in a bit, but the chord progression we have is B flat, G minor, and then D major, then F major, second round, and then it ends on D sharp. So I already programmed the melody of the solo with the synths because I think synths supporting a guitar line will get so much more depth and it'd be so much more interesting. Of course, depending on the context, but in this case, the synths support the solo wonderfully. So the melody we have that's going over the chord progression sounds like this. Which is, it's a bit slow, it's easy to listen to. I'll just stop talking. I'll just first play it with just the backing guitars and the synths. So I think you get the point of the whole palette we have here. So the synths is basically retrolog, layered, with some patch up. And I especially love this patch up over here, which is the fast gating saw preset. Which is perfect for the solo we're gonna record. And I especially love these synths over here. Together with the synths. Alright, so now let's track the solo. How I have routed it, I'm plugged straight into my interface, recording a DI, and that's routed to a modeler, and recording the output of that. So I'm recording DI signal and amp at the same time, so I can always reamp later if I want to. Quick little tip when recording solos, you can set the range tool for your locator. So for an example, just want to have this area right here. Then I press I/O, and on the top bottom right here, you can see automatic punch in and punch out, because it rarely happens when you record a solo and you have the instantly perfect take. So it's going to be a bunch of different takes here. But okay, so here we go. Okay, I think it was a decent take. I just want to re-record that last lick, which was a tiny bit sloppy, I think. Let's just re-record that. And I like the tapping of the previous take better, so I'm gonna just use that. Quick check how it sounds. It sounds good to me. Alright, so now I'm gonna put away the guitar and let's mix this solo into the mix. Here we go. Alright, so I'm gonna disable this track because we don't need it for now. Let's cut off the stuff we don't need. And a common mistake some people make is they cut off right on the beat, but no one's a robot, so just a tiny bit before it with the fade in sounds a bit more natural. So now let's balance those leads with the solo. That sounds good to me. And let's lower the synths a tiny bit beneath that. So I'm going to put those synths into a group track. I'll call them chorus solo synths. There we go. Let's give them a nice color. And let's just put these a tiny bit down. And I'm gonna cut a tiny bit of mids just to make a bit of room for the solo. Okay, and now let's make the solo epic. First thing I'm gonna use is frequency to just shape it a tiny bit, cut off the stuff we don't need. So I'm gonna cut off the low end. Around 175 Hertz, and now let's tiny bit reduce, like tame the high end. And some nasty frequency somewhere in the upper mids. And a tiny bit of lower mids. This should be just fine. And just for the low end on that lick, I'll play some low stuff. We're gonna activate the dynamic section, so it just reduces, it tames those low resonant notes on the guitar. That sounds good. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put delay into reverb. That's how I like to have my lead sounds. So we have this wonderful studio delay here. And let's see what we can get. So I have the delay at half notes. I think that sounds fine for this song. Going for the ping pong vibe. And let's see if this reverb works. Maybe I'll use reference. Let's see how it sounds in the mix. So what I'm gonna do now is reduce the reverb a tiny bit and still add reverence after it. Let's take another listen. Just for that quick lick, I'm gonna reduce the guitars a tiny bit. So that quick lick is a bit more prominent. I'm gonna also up it a tiny bit on the lead track, on the solo track, and reduce the synths and the lead synths, both of them, a tiny bit down. I think the lead guitars could use a tiny bit more upper mids. And now I want to do, just to round it up, something fun. I want to, when that riff comes back in, just have the guitars go into space. So what we're going to automate is on that outro part is the reverb and the delay. So while I was playing, I had the right button on, right automation. So now we have these two here. So I'm doing a tapping thing where I tap the harmonic above the 12th fret. So I'm just gonna go into 100%, same here. Go into 100% and then have the volume go down of the lead guitar. Perhaps with a tiny curve like this. And to make it more crazy, I'm also gonna up the level of the reference. And lastly, also upping the output volume of the reverb. So now I have this effect. And to make a bit more room for that, have the rhythm guitar just slightly go louder, a tiny bit lower when it starts. So the end product, here we go. Alright, and there you have it. Hope you learned something today. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this. And you know what? See you next time. Cheers!